Hello everyone, today I'm going to attempt to beat Mario 1 Deathless. Not only doing this to do this to redo the original video I did a few years ago, but I'm also doing this to pay homage to the fact that this game came out 40 years ago, a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago it just turned 40, and not only that, but without this video game would not be how they are today. You see, back in 1983 there was a video game crash, and it pretty much caused the gaming industry to deplete at that time. What happened was the market was oversaturated with video games, and consumers didn't trust in the product because most of the games that were coming out weren't of high quality. So it caused the market to crash, and it also didn't help the fact that some companies that were not even qualified to make video games were making video games, such as companies that were making food for pets. So with that being said, that's why the market was pretty much crashed back then. Then a few years later, this game comes out and it pretty much revitalizes the gaming industry as a whole, and it showed consumers that if games are taken care of and properly made, it showed that video games will be here to come, here to be for a very long time. As you can see, it's been 40 years. Anyway, if we continue right from that ceiling, there will be a warp zone that takes you to 2, 3, or 4. I just wanted to point that out before ending the level. And as you can see from World War II, there was a lot of hidden secrets that you can get, like a 1-up or a star and whatnot. Anyway, we are now in 1-3. I will tell you now that 1-3 is a level that will be copied later on. At least the layout of the level will be copied. But there will be a few differences later on that will cause this level to be a little bit more difficult than it is now. But that's for later and not now. We are now at the end of World 1-3. We will now begin 1-4. 1-4 is a level that will be copied as well. At least the castle layout will be. All you have to do is literally just rush to the end and do not take a hit. There's 2 ways to defeat the boss at the end of this area. If you hit him enough times with the fire flower fireball, it will eventually go down. Or you can grab an X at the end and lower the bridge if he's still alive, and he will fall into the lava below. No matter what, you will always have to grab the X at the end. We are now in 2-1. 2-1 has a lot of power-ups, way more than any other level that's going to be relevant later on. So if you love power-ups, this is the level for you. There's a star right here, grab it, and there's also a vine right there. It'll take you to Coin Heaven, where you can collect a lot of coins. With that being said, just run through this level, and also there's one more power-up right there if you didn't know about it. And we're at the end of 2-1. Now, if you time it right, you can jump on the spring, and that's how you work with that. But if you aren't good at that, there was a hidden block right there just for you in case you don't know how to make that jump with the spring. But I would advise you learn that jump with the spring, because there will be a level coming up later that you will actually have to try to jump on the spring to get to a higher up platform. That's for later. World 2-2 is the first underwater level. There are 2 of them. And this level layout, pretty much every world in World 2 will be copied later on. At least the layout will be, but not 2-1. If 2-1 was copied later on, that would be an easy level. Very easy. Anyway, 2-2 is underwater level. The only way you can defeat enemies is with a fireball, and not only that, but in 2-2 there are so many enemies you can defeat. Not only that, but as you can see, certain areas will try to suck you down into the abyss below. Do your best to swim as fast as you possibly can so you don't accidentally cause yourself to lose a life by going inside of one of those chasms. We're now in World 2-3. 2-3 is pretty much the easiest level if you don't get hit. As long as you jump when you need to and don't get hit by those cheeps, you can pretty much breeze through this stage. So with that being said, do not take a hit, because I like how that was very close to me getting hit. Because if you get hit right after that platform that has that block, you cannot get another power up until 2-4. So with that being said, we are now at the end of 2-3. Slow down so this cheap T doesn't hit you, and we are now going to be in 2-4. 2-4's castle layout, as I said before, will be copied later on as well. With that being said, we are now in 2-4, and all we have to do is just pretty much breeze through this area and do not take a hit accidentally. I'm gonna use this fire flower to defeat him again, and we are now in 3-1. 3-1 introduces a new enemy. That enemy being the Hammer Brothers. Hammer Brothers are quite infamous in this game because of how they work. See, they throw hammers at you in the arc, and it's kind of hard to dodge those things because of the fact that they are in the arc. And the way that you can hit them is jumping on top of them, but most of the time you defeat them, it'll be because of the fact that you hit a block from below them, and you hit them and they'll knock them out. The reason why I went down that pipe is to show you there's a power up in that block if you have a mushroom at least. But right here is a star. If you grab the star, you can just breeze through these Hammer Brothers, and there's also a vine right there if you want to get that vine. But if you don't, continue right, and you'll basically be done with this level. Right in that area right there, there's a possible way where you can get infinite lives by hitting the Koopas enough times, and eventually you start getting lives from hitting that Koopa enough times. It's a weird way you have to do it, but it will give you basically an infinite amount of lives just continuously doing that. We're now in 3-2. 3-2 is pretty much the easiest stage you're going to ever get in World 3. All you have to do is grab this star right here, and you can just breeze from point A to point B, as long as you make your jumps accordingly. And this star will pretty much last until the end of the level. And now we are in World 3-3. World 3-3 shows you this pulley system where if you are on one of the sides of the platforms, one of the platforms goes down and the other one goes up. As long as you aren't on there too long and you jump to the other platform, you'll be okay on this system. So make sure you're not on one of these for too long, because it can cause you to lose a life if you stay there on one of them too long. With that being said, this is the last one you'll see until 4-3. And that last pulley right there, it's possible to actually jump over the flagpole. I had to mention that at least. We're now in World 3-4. 3-4 is the first castle that will not be a copy of a castle later on. All you have to do is just breeze through this and try to not get hit, and you'll be okay. Hit them enough times, and we're now done with World 3-4, and we'll be in World 4. World 4 introduces a new enemy as well, that enemy being Lakitu/Lakitu. And that enemy, what he does is he's high up in the sky. He's high enough where you cannot actually hit him. And what he does is throw these spiny enemies down at you, and you cannot jump on them, obviously. The only way you can defeat them is if you use a fireball from the fire flower suit, or for them to fall in the pit, or if you have a star, hit them with a star, man, while it's activated on you, and those are the only ways you can defeat the spiny. We are now in 4-2. 4-2 is the last underground level, and it has 2 ward zone areas, but there's a few things I would like to show you before we get to those areas where ward zones are appearing. Jump over this huge gap, and what I want to show you is right here there's a block for some reason just hidden. I don't know which developers thought that was a good idea, but yeah, there's a hidden coin block right there. Anyway, you hit these 2 platforms and then jump on them. Try your best to hit this block right here, and you will spawn a vine. That vine right there can take you to world 6, 7, or 8 via the warp zone. The next warp zone is at the end of this level. If you continue on the ceiling right past these platforms right here, there will be a warp zone that takes you to World 5. Now, from the warp zone from earlier with the vine, speedrunners use that to cause the game to be manipulated, where they go down the pipe for a little bit further down, and they manipulate Mario's sub-pixels and whatnot, and it causes the game to teleport him up there without actually climbing the vine, which skips a few seconds off the time. But that's enough about speedrunning. We're now in 4-3. 4-3, I think, is the only level that has mushrooms as platforms. There's a power up right here if you want it. And not only that, but I need to tell you about its platforms. You see how large they are now? Every level after World 4, the platforms are going to be a lot smaller. So I hope you haven't gotten used to how large these platforms are, because after this, these are about half the size of well, not about, I would say about a little bit smaller than that. So with that being said, get used to seeing smaller platforms from now here on. Floor 4 is a maze castle. To get through this maze, you take the first path. First path you take is the top path. You go down from here, and then you take the bottom path. If I can make that jump, that'd be great. Now make sure you slow down right here, because there's a fire clock right here that will almost always hits you there. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to just jump over the boss, so I don't accidentally get hit by either one of those things. And we are now in World 5-4. I'm going to say 5-1. World 5 introduces a new enemy as well. It's the last level that introduces you to a new enemy, unless you want to count these little other enemies. Anyway, the enemy that they introduce you to is bullet bills. How bullet bills work is they go horizontally, they don't change direction, and they go from left and right. As long as you're not standing next to that turret or to the right of it, or on top of it, I should say, they won't spawn. But there will be levels where they spawn in from the right side of the screen, and you have to do your best to avoid them and don't get hit. 5-2. Remember when I told you about Hammer Brothers? It won't be here for a while. You know, this is the second level that they appear. With that being said, do your best to take care of the first one that you see, which is right here. There'll be another one coming up real soon. How soon? Right here, as long as you take care of them. Continue on, do not get hit by that hammer. And then there's another set that comes right here. Now after this set, there will be, of course I take a hit there. After this set, there will be a star and a power up coming up. The star is right here. I hope it was gonna jump. And as you can see, there's these dark shield enemies right there. Those are the harder forms of these Koopas right here. You see, you can't use your fire flower on them, and the only way you can defeat them is literally shooting their shell into a hole. Or if they fall in holes, I'm not sure, but that's the only way you can defeat them. Anyway, we are done with 5-2. We are now in 5-3. 5-3 is a copy of 1-3, but as I said, it's going to be harder because, as you can see, those bullet bills are spawning from the right, and they spawn in random spots. Do not get hit by these, because they will disorient you and try to ruin your jumps. Do not get hit by. But as long as you get to the end of the level, they stop spawning, and you will now be in 5-4. 5-4 is basically 2-4, but harder. It's the castle layout for 2-4. That's what I'm saying. As long as you get here, you'll be fine. So let's breeze on through here, run through these two sets, and then we have to probably slow down for the last one. And we're done there. Now jump on this platform, get on top here so you don't have to go down. Wait for these two things to get out of your way. And defeat them from afar. You don't have to go close. Now we're gonna wait for that thing to spawn in because I don't want that thing to hit me at the end. And we are now done with World 5-4. I will point out, after 5-4, the boss will now throw hammers at you, so it's a lot harder to jump over him. So with that being said, do your best to not have to jump over him. 6-1, you see Lakitu again. This is not the last time you'll see him. That will be another level you see him, and he will be very, very annoying when you get to that level. But as long as you just breeze through these levels, you don't have to worry about him as much. And we are done with 6-1, and now we are in 6-2. 6-2 is probably the easiest level you're gonna get up to this point. That's not a copy of another level. That being said, right, the reason why I say it will be the easier level is because all the enemies are pretty easy to tackle. You don't really have to worry about anything. And this is basically pipe the world. But there's only pipes mostly in this world. There's some pipes you can go down, some you can't. And as I said, when I said that won't be the only instance you can go underwater, this is what I was referring to. Yeah, there are certain pipes in this game, in certain levels that will actually take you underwater, and yeah. Anyway, we're now done with that section. Now we can continue right. There is a vine in this level as well, but anyway, there is a star right here if you want it, but there's literally no point in having a star there because this level is pretty much done after that star. Because this is the end of 6-2. Now, remember when I said you have to be good with string things? Well, this is the reason why. 6-3, there's a spring you have to jump on to get to a platform that's higher up. That being said, ooh, that was close. There's a power up right there if you need it, but it's a lot harder to get if it's a mushroom. But remember when I said that bullet bills sometimes spawn from the right? Well, it starts spawning right here. Do your best to avoid them, not take a hit, but after a certain point, right about past this, they stop spawning, and now you can basically get to the end of the level, and you'll be in 6-4. 6-4 castle layout is 1-4, but harder. As you can see, there were fireworks right there. The reason why there were fireworks is because the time has 3 as in the ones digit, and the ones digit is how they correspond to the fireworks. You see, if the ones digit is a 1, 3, or 6, fireworks will show up corresponding to either 1, 3, or 6. No other number will activate those fireworks. So with that being said, wow, that was a weird jump, and that was a harder jump to make. As long as it's that, at the end you'll see fireworks. Anyway, as I said before, he starts throwing hammers at you. Do your best to avoid them. And the reason why I stayed back is so I didn't get hit by one. And now we can go to World 7-1 with the ability to take a hit. 7-1, I hope you like bullet bills because there's a lot of them. There's one at the very beginning of the stage, and there's another 2 set right here. Whatever you do not take a hit up to this point because there will be some Hammer Brothers coming up soon. I mean, real soon. That's why I'm hugging all of these things, because they can't spawn as long as you're hugging them. Or on top of them. With the first set. I love how they don't take a hit until you get them on screen. Oh, I think I defeated the other one without even knowing it. I didn't know you can go down there. I did not know you can go down there. I took a chance. How far does this take you? Is that past the second set? If it's past the second set, then that's good, and it's not. I'm keeping my distance because they can throw these things so far. I wish it was, but it's at no, that's the last set, and right there is a power up if you need it. But we're now gonna go to 7-2. 7-2's layout is 2-2, but harder. So, do your best. Not take a hit. Now the reason why I said 7-2 but harder is because the reason why it's harder is there will be a lot more enemies that show up. Those enemies that are showing up are bloopers, those squid enemies. They have that weird going diagonal pattern, so do your best to take care of them. That's why I wanted to keep the fire flower. So I can just defeat them, so I don't have to worry about taking my time as much. Of course, you can beat this level without actually having this, but at the same time, why not make your getting through here a lot easier? Alright, continuing on, not take a hit. Good thing is they don't have a single blooper that shows up in this little area with the pit. It shows up past this. There's 2 more bloopers at the end. Do not get hit by them. Once you get rid of them, you're pretty much done with this. And now we can get done with World 7-2. 7-3 is 2-3, but harder. So, all we have to do is just take our time a little bit more. Take our time to a fault. We're still gonna speed run through the level, but we have to take our time a little bit more. Anyway, you see why I say it's a little harder? They got these enemies that show up, or now you have to actually jump fast, but do not take a hit, because once you get past that power up, there's no more power ups until 8-2. So we're now done with 7-3, and this is my best shape I ever had. We're now in 7-4. 7-4, 7-4, 7-4. 7-4 is a maze. And to get through this maze, what you have to do first is get through these platforms. So the first way you go is bottom, middle, top. Then take the top path, take the middle path, and then the top. And we're done. Now whatever you do, do not take a hit. We're basically done with this level, so. And keep your distance, so this, because I've had them hammers hit me in a weird pixel for some reason, and I don't want that to happen. This is the best shape I ever had. This is like over 20 attempts of doing this. This is the first time I actually had a fire flower. We're now at 8-1. 8-1, there's no power-ups at all, except for a star. And stars are only temporary, so I don't really care for a star. One of these freaking pipes at the beginning you can go down. I think it's this one. Oh, it's the next one then. There's no power-ups in here, trust me. I wish there were, but there is none. It's just coins, and I don't need coins. But this takes you to a further point in the level, obviously. But not only that, but it takes you closer to that area that has the pipe. That star. Now, as I said, there's no power-ups in this stage. And every level in World 8, if you die in any level in World 8, you have to do the whole level all over again. There are no checkpoints. So with that being said, do your best to not die in this stage. But we are basically done with World 8-1. All we gotta do is just take our time with these jumps. And not get hit. Well, we can't get hit, we just can't fall in. I will take my time because I have not made it this far with a fire flower. The reason why I want it to at least have a power up because of how 8-2 begins. There's 2 enemies we have to worry about in 8-2. At the beginning there will be a Lakitu that shows up soon. And that's why I wanted to hit, just in case he hits me. Now, you don't have to worry about him after this because he goes away. Now, below that spring is an extra life, but we don't care about lives right now. I wish I didn't take a hit, but whatever. I love how this bullet bill is trying to ruin everything. Do not fire until I get past you. I'm trying to do is cause it so I can off-screen these. There is a power-up in between this. That's what I'm trying to do, grab it. That's why I'm taking my sweet old time. And there's another pipe I can go down and it will basically end this level because it makes the level. Oh crap. Oh, that was close. I thought I was about to die there. The pipe you can go down is right here. And it basically makes this level so short. That's why I always take it. And we are done with 8-2. As soon as I got here with the power up, I'm like, I can get back to 8-3 for the first time in a while. The only thing about 8-3 that sucks is you like Hammer Brothers? Well, too bad. There's a lot of them. And I don't have a fire flower, so at least not yet. If I can get one. Okay, that's the first one gone. Now I just need you to be gone. I think the mushroom is right back here. It's in one of these. Alright, we're good. I'm in perfect position now. I love that. Trying to get me. I gotta say, light bullet bills? Well, too bad. There's a lot of them. I think then this one is the one that has the star. I like how I got both of them at the same time. Oh, power up. Isn't there a star at the end of one of these? Now, the reason why I want a fire flower is because they are actually ground level with you when you get further in. That's what I was trying to avoid. Having to take my time and waiting for them, but we are now done with 8-3. As soon as we pass that, we are now in the last level of the game. Alright. 8-4 is a maze as well, but it's a weird maze. How they do this maze is very weird. You have to go down the right path. In this instance, every right path that's correct is literally past these lava paths. I like how this block right here basically kind of blends into that lava, but as long as you go to the next pipe, you're done here. Next. Now to get up here, there's a hidden block right here, or what speedrunners do is do this new weird clip where he goes into the block and he can jump again. This spot right here is cheap show up. Get out of the screen as fast as possible. And now we're underwater. This is the second to last section before you get to the last screen. This castle's not that long. But I do not wish to take a hit because those fire bars will hit you. Now take your time, do not rush. And the reason why I want to keep this fire flower suit is because there's a hammer brother right before you get to the end. And now since I am in perfect condition to win this game, I can pretty much do whatever I want and we're done. I've done Mario Brothers 1 Deathless. I would like to say that I enjoyed actually playing this game all over again, and not only that, but also the fact that without this game, video games wouldn't be the way they are today. So with that being said, we shall pay our homage to the fact that this game came out and changed the gaming landscape as a whole. Considering the fact that this is only 8 bits and how everything came to be later on. Let's just be thankful that this game pretty much made it so games will be what they are today. With that being said, thank you for watching this whole entire video of me attempting to beat this game, Deathless. I enjoyed redoing this game even though I've died many times, and I mean many times. I hope you enjoyed. The sad part is you won't even see how I failed because I will not show those attempts. With all that being said, thank you for watching. I hope y'all do enjoy, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night. Goodbye, and most of all, take care and be safe.